If you know your history, then you will know where you are coming from, and in whatever you do, seek wisdom. Knowledge is power. Inugo maka the book Hip Hop and Igbo Culture, authored by Martin IFEANYICHUKWU Ekezie EZEANUMBA the First. Metal, there is a great insight in hip hop and Igbo culture. You can get this book or pick it up at a bookshop in St. Teresa's Catholic Church, Omonia,
or pick it up at Joseph's Bookshop, Book to the Nation, 8 Ubuta Road, opposite DNGS on the shop. Call 080-3338.
Yes, of course, it's about time on 92.9 FM, Kruzz FM, Asaba. Now, this is that time when we get to discuss those challenges now, that confront traders from time to time on a very good day, and it's about time for us to discuss it. Why do we do this? Because we care, we care about you, and it's about time. Traders in the marketplaces are, confronted with lots of challenges, and if if we do not get to talk about their situation, who will do these things on a very good day? So this is how I welcome you to this wonderful edition of Market Trend on Kruzz 92.9 FM. I remain the one and only Martin IFEANYICHUKWU Ekezie EZEANUMBA the First, the one, the McCall. Metal is about time.
Relax, you don't pressure.
I really hear him.
Relax now.
I didn't relax. No. Yes, it's very important that we get to talk about these things, and today our focus is on patronage in the marketplaces. During rainy season, a situation whereby a lot of traders will complain that they will complain that there is there is low patronage. You hardly see people who will come and patronize them, because the rain is falling and the people could not just come into the market. There are a lot of factors that affect these things, and we are going to dissect it right now and talk about it. Before I go any further, I want to encourage you to become part of this conversation, because when we talk about these things to trash it, we solve it as a people together, not just me discussing it here and you are listening over there. It is very important that you and I, we trash it, talk about it. I have a lot of things I know that some of these traders, the successful ones, are doing that enables them in this time, and I'm going to give you that. And at the same time, it is very important that your feedback comes along, so that you get to look at it from the perspective of someone who is right there in the marketplace. So let's do this. It's about time. So the question today is there anything a trader could do in this time to improve patronage? Onwere ife onye na-azụ afịa ga-emenwu ka o nwee ike na-azụta afịa ya ka a na-agụ ya afịa, ka ọ ghara na-enwe nje afịa n'oge dị ugbu a, like kịta mmiri na-ezo. Kedu ihe onye na-azụ afịa ga-eme ka o nwee ike na-azụ aga afịa ka o si kwesị isi na-azụ ya bụ afịa n'oge n'oge udu mmiri? And in of my if na enwe ihe niile, enwe a lot of things na-emetụta ndị na-azụ afịa, like onye na-azụ afịa n'oge ugbu a ga na-agwa gị na mmiri a na-ezo na ya fọkwa ụzọ, anyị makwa ife a na-eme mmadụ nwere ike gbaa moto jee afịa gbakwuo nashi ya, mana at the end of the day onwe dị ife ọzọ. O nwere ike mgbe o jere afịa sef ka olu n'ọdụ afịa ihe o mere bụ just at the end of ka ọ na-ana ọsị mmadụ biko bigodo m ego ka m ji wee gbakwa moto wee nabakwa ịghọtago, echi ọpụtakwa again nje afịa a na-ebe na nje afịa ka nkụ, mana enwere ife a ga-emenwe ife ndị a niile. Now, I got a mafia, yotago, where Jem, Ihem Motagasi, IJ Gassi, Drugasias, and Imafia, to Sadi. Kind of address Ihai Motarin, Ihai Motabona, one, and when they Hotaloka Hasi, and May Fednafia, even Monoge with the millionaires of good, Nahana, a map of Mana Galon fan you, Candos on Pana, Kohe, one we has at the end of the day. So, ihe ndị a niile ka anyị ga-eti gasị anya today ka anyị wee mụtakwa ịghọtago ka ndị na-amalụ ife ndị ọzọ na-eme wee na-survive ga-emekwa ha onwe nwee ike wee survive kwa n'ime afịa. So basically it takes time to build clientele, you know, as a trader in the market. It takes time. That's why, and it takes a lot of sacrifice over time, you know, to build clientele. But before I begin to dissect, you know, this, I have a particular report that I would like you to pay attention to. When you pay attention to this report, when we get back, I'll begin to dissect it, because this report, you know, brings the perspective of some of the traders in the marketplace to explain how they do this during raining season, you know. So the fact is that a lot of people will tell you that yes, there is time of hunger for farmers. You know, in the olden days, they will farm, you know, cultivate their crops in the land, and at the end of the day, they will tell you that okay, so time to so time, we are just awaiting our crops to get better. You know, and that time, whatever you have, you manage it as much as you can before it gets to the time of harvest. So a lot of people still live with that format, like okay, yeah, this is the time of hunger and all of that. I will tell you what some of the traders do to survive in this time. Yes, remember that you are listening to, you know, Market Trend on Kruzz 92.9 FM Asaba. You know, right about now, I want you to pay attention to this report. When we get back, you know, we'll begin to dissect it. And our focus today is on the raining season. So take a listen, and I'll be right back.
Traders of certain products will always receive all patronage till after the rainy season. Some traders also confirm that this is also observed in Igbo culture in a time that is called Ugogani, which means a time of hunger, whereby farmers are done with cultivation and must wait for their crops to develop.
Some movements, business.
A trader of building materials at the building materials line, Ugwa Atuzu Abuilu in Market, Afamike, confirmed that traders of building materials, especially those that trade on cement and others, will have to wait for the rainy season to stop before receiving better patronage from their customers.
For example, the money investment. For example, the investment. Brilliant, how much do we deliver? I get your real picture. And then I will. Enough customers. We have good to rainy season. Go for the for Sunday. Sometimes they have some program here. Yes. They get so to goes to affect the business. So as
Meanwhile, as some traders complain about the low patronage during this time of rainy season, some traders of foodstuff and other products continue to receive enough patronage. Insert, From Abuido, Nnewi Market, Martin Ekezie reporting.
Well, there you have it. Yes, it is said in the olden days, even in like our forefathers know that there is time for hunger. They call it ogogani. According to the report, you see that there is time for hunger when after the farmers must have cultivated their crops, and they are waiting for these crops to develop, and that time is when they get to manage and wait for the time of harvest, for them to now live in abundance at the end of the day. But we live in a different time now, and we must approach these things, differently. So this is how I welcome you back to Market Trend on Kruzz 92.9 FM Asaba. I remain the one and only Martin IFEANYICHUKWU Ekezie EZEANUMBA, the first, the one, the McCall Metal. How are you doing? So even in the days of our forefathers, when people would have to live through this time of hunger and all of that, people who do have a lot in their barn still survive at the end of the day. So that is also the difference between traders of today. You see some traders who understand what they are supposed to do, and they are surviving at a time like this. During the rainy season. And you see some others who are still complaining that, that we are not doing anything in the market, to Njafia can go and all of that. So lots of traders live by the principles of the olden days that, okay, this is the time when we have to just, wait for the rain to, get to elapse before we begin to do better in business. But today, a lot of traders understand what they are supposed to do, and they are doing it right. That's why you see, one of the persons that spoke in that report said that, there are traders who are surviving properly, who have enough customers. During this time, they don't complain so much, and the traders who do not have a lot of customers are complaining a lot. That's again a job. Yes, the effect of the rainy season is right there. It stares people on the face. But there are things traders must do to survive, to do better. Now, my observation is that some of the traders who are doing better understand that, one, the first thing you must do as a businessman, as a trader, is that you must create awareness. Awareness. You must create awareness. There's no way you set up shop and you don't tell anybody that this is where I am, so that people could come there and patronize you. So these are the difference. Like you see some of them who have a great number of customers. You see that they created awareness for these people to know that, okay, we can go to some place and get this without trouble or problem of any kind. If you do not create awareness as a trader, how do you survive? So ihe anyị na-ekwu ebụrụ na ihe izi ndị na-azụta afịa n'oge ugbu a, nke mmiri na-ezo, oge mmiri na-adị ezobe, enwe ndị na-azụ aka na complain na-asị na ya mapụ onwekwu ya ma na-azụ yotago nwekwa ndị nọ na-azụkwala onwe fa afa na-azụsi afọ ike because na ha ma ifefa mee ihe a ha mee na-edukwanụfa and ihe izi mmụta ndị a na-emegasị bụ na ndị a na-ekreti awareness fa na-eje like otu a Kruzz 92.9 FM Asabade iweta mail advert agwa ndị mmadụ na-ebe dị otu a ka ị nọ wee na-azụ afịa ikwuo akọwalụ ndị mmadụ oke na onye a nọ ebe dị otu a ọ bụ na emeli ya kedu ka a ga-esi wee zụkwana ya gafọ in the first place. So ọ bụrụ na ide weje ka eme ka ndị mmadụ mara ebe ị nọ otu a Kruzz nwere vast audience na-ege ntị ife anyị na-eme ebe a ịkwesịrị iweta si oke biko si gwa ndị dị otu a na-ebe dị otu a ka ị nọ na ihe ị na-azụ ime ya otu a ndị mmadụ amara ebe ị nọ oge udu mmiri a ga na-azụ gafịa. Yes, so I'm aga n'iru a wee na-akọwakwa ka ihe niile asị adị ugbu a and tupu ime create ya bụ awareness enwegasịkwa ihe ndị ọzọ ịkwesị ime nke izi wee bụrụ na ị ga-enwegodu ebe esi wee na-akpọtụrụ gị a ga-enwe pure communication a ga-enwe line a ga-eji na-enweta gị easily and ọma mbụ achọ inweta gị ọfịa arụ yotago achọkwa na onye ọzọ ihe enwegodo line a ga-eji ụlọ enweta gị easily. Now ihe ọzọ ịkwesị inwe bụ na a ga na-enwetakwa gị na social media because n'oge anyị nọ kịta bụ oge ịghọtago a lot of your potential customers nọ na social media na-enegasị anya ịkwesịrị ịnọ na social media na-emesi ike na social media ọ bụrụ na ị mara ka ihe esi wee mee ya ịbịa na this Kruzz 92.9 FM enwegasị ndị ga-alụtụrụ gị aka ka esi wee na-eme ya bụ ife ebe anyị nọkwana na-eme ife a na-akpọ market trend otu a kịta nwere a lot of things anyị ga-alụtụ nwu gị aka ị ga na-eme ka ị wee nwee ike wee bụrụkwa onye a ga-enotis wee na-azụ afịa n'oge ugbu a.
No, they speak English. No, they use English. For some people who don't understand.
I be use English now. I'm break the one where I don't talk so far. Maybe here I'm still. Then still, what I'm saying in essence is that before you begin to create this awareness, there are things you must put in place, and one of those things is that you must have lines where people could get across to you easily. It's not a situation whereby maybe whenever you are called, they will say, okay, that the line is not reachable and all of that. You must have a clear line where people could get you easily, and that's the first thing you must do before the awareness, before you create the awareness, so that once the awareness is created, your potential customers could easily get to you at the end of the day. And at the same time, you must have social media handles where people could easily get across to you and understand and say, okay, I want this, I want that. And those social media handles are places where you could also display some of the products where you sell or what you sell or what you deal on a very good day, so people could say or make their choice from your social media handle. Yes, another thing that is very important that you must do is that you must involve yourself in directories. Directories that will tell people, okay, that this is the place where where you could get this or that at the end of the day. For example, if you deal on doors, you could say, okay, people could get to those directories and say, okay, this is where I can get this or that from so person. Now, the next thing you must do is that you must have a website. As a trader, a business person, whatever you're doing, you have to create your own website where people could easily come in and then understand exactly what you're doing. But all of these things, will mean nothing if you do not get to Kruzz 92.9 FM to create awareness, to, tell people, okay, you could go to social website and check me out. You could go to social media handle to check me out. You could, call me on social number. My address is on social place. If you don't bring your jingle or to come around so that we get to produce the jingle for you and air them, how do you create awareness and tell people that this is where I am? Now, in as much as we say all of these things, a lot of traders who know these secrets, they keep it secret, and sometimes they get to complain with you. But you that is right there in the market, you can see that this person is pushing this product, this person is making these supplies and all of that. If you don't understand what you're supposed to do in the first place, they will just keep observing. They will just keep doing their thing. But I'm breaking it down now. Even as a trader, it is time for you to become part of the conversation. It is time for you to tell us, okay, even with all this awareness, do you think there are some other challenges that could, cut you down when it comes to the rainy season? Oge udummiri ana-azụ afịa hịọtago anyị gwa ndị mmadụ na ị na-ebe dị otu azụ afịa na ị ga-ebido zụba afịa. In as much as na ndị nọsị gị na-akụ na complain na-asị anyị ada azụkwa, anyị ada eme nke a n'ọlọta, anyị ma ebe anyị nọ na Kruzz 92.9 FM Asaba, anyị ma na ọ bụrụ na anyị gwa ndị mmadụ na ị na-ebe dị otu a na ị ga-ebido zụba afịa even ka mmiri na-ezo. And one of the things ị ga-emekwa ịghọtago ka anyị na-ekriti ya bụ awareness bụ na ị ga-enwe means iji ebugala ndị mmadụ afịa, iji supply ndị mmadụ afịa, because na some of them ndị ga-azụ gị afịa ga-achọ just ha kpọọ gị na phone asị gị oke n'ebe dị otu a, ibuli abịa enye gị ego gị at the end of the day. Mana izizi ị ga-ebugodo ụzọ gbaa mbọ bịa na Kruzz 92.9 FM yọta Asaba ka e wee create gị awareness, kọwalụ ọhaneze n'ebe dị otu a ka ị nọ were azụ afịa. Now, ọ bụrụ na ị bụ onye na-azụ afịa n'oge dị ugbu a, ihe ọ bụla, kedu ihe bụ ife a na-enye gị nsogbu, kedu ihe bụ ife a na